Joseph Quinn, who plays Eddie Munson in Stranger Things, was just asked if he's going to be returning to the show in season 5, and his response has gotten everybody excited.
Those writers at Stranger Things are really creative. Any way they could come back, bring you in for a flashback?
Oh my god, yeah, I mean, it's going to be out soon, isn't it? Who knows?
Okay, so you're saying there's a chance?
There's always a chance for anything, isn't there, really? Nothing's impossible.
Not only is he not saying no, but it almost feels like he's toying with us, leaning into the fact that he probably will be coming back in this final season, which has all the fans talking. Did he just spoil the return of Eddie Munson to Stranger Things? I did some digging and found out that someone actually told him about the cast theory of Eddie returning as a vampire, and I was really shocked at what he had to say about it, because in multiple interviews he has admitted now that he knows what will happen in season 5.
Would you be disappointed to see your friends finish out Stranger Things without a one little Eddie Munson flashback moment, anything?
I'm excited to see how they do. I think it's going to be amazing. I've heard some ideas from the 5th season, and I think it's going to surpass all of our expectations. And I'm just excited to see. I'm not saying anything.
Wait, they've told you?
Yeah,
they've
I know everything.
Who has broken their silence? Who has told you?
I've heard whispers. I know some bits, and it sounds very exciting. I'm very excited to see how they pull it off.
And he's known for years now. I don't know why the Duffer Brothers would tell him so many secrets about season 5 if he wasn't going to be involved. And there was one specific interview I stumbled across that hinted at a very specific reason for his season 5 return. It's crazy that this single interview sparked a little fire that led to me uncovering all these puzzle pieces linking together, pointing towards this fan favorite character's return. Because let's be real, it would be so cool to see Eddie Munson return in season 5. He was one of the coolest characters in the show, and he became so relatable to anyone who hasn't always fit in life, and in just one season was able to win over all of our hearts and then break them with his sacrifice by the final episode. And since then, Joseph Quinn has become very busy, meeting up with Metallica and playing the finale song with them, to starring in A Quiet Place and now the new Fantastic Four movie, as well as many other roles. It was so impressive to see him use this spotlight that Stranger Things gave him to land so many other projects. But I think now that it's been 3 full years since Eddie Munson's debut, it would be extremely fitting to see him return in season 5. And I can't help but say that because of all of this, there's a 99.99% chance that we will see Eddie in some form return. But with all his smug reactions to being asked this question every single time,
I have a feeling that we might see Eddie once again.
Do you? You have a feeling?
I certainly do.
Huh.
Yeah.
I might have that feeling too.
I can't help but wonder if his return will be more than just a flashback, because that's almost guaranteed. All the way back since season 1, characters have been completely dying and have been living on in all the other characters' memories. Look at Barb. It took Nancy 2 full seasons to come to terms with her best friend's death. Not only was it the original reason she ended up literally stumbling into the Upside Down in season 1, but also finding some sort of justice and closure for Barb's family was a huge part of season 2. She wasn't able to move on so quickly from something this traumatic, and we can see even in season 4, Barb's death still is very fresh in Nancy's conscious. We see Vecna snare Nancy in his trance as he taunts her with Barb's death, playing into the smallest amount of guilt she might have felt for leaving her alone by the pool that night and being partially responsible for that Demogorgon gobbling her up. Even Bob Newby's death followed Joyce into season 3 and 4. She comes to these moments where she can't help but relive the trauma and can't escape these visions of seeing him get killed over and over and over again. And the Duffer Brothers have already said that Eddie's death will have a huge impact on season 5. Most likely, we are going to see Dustin really struggling to come to terms with his close friend and mentor in a way passing. I think not only this, but he will also struggle similar to Nancy and become vulnerable to Vecna over this, and might be preyed upon in some way that he could have done something to save him. Eddie sacrificed himself to save Dustin and the others, and I just know that Dustin is going to have a rough time dealing with that. But I want to see more than just a flashback. There is a good chance that Joseph Quinn has already filmed scenes for season 5 and is just sitting there with the smuggest look on his face taunting us, knowing he's not going to spoil anything. By the way, if you're enjoying the video, subscribe to the channel. It's completely free and I'll be making loads of fun Stranger Things videos before season 5 that you're not going to want to miss. Now, like we were saying, let's take a look at Billy next. Billy died in season 3, and surprisingly enough, his death I think was even more influential than Barb's. I think what shocked us all was that he was a bully, an antagonist character who had a change of heart, and while not perfect, he chose to be on the right side of history with his one final sacrifice, which was crazy. I would give anything to hear what was going on in his head throughout all of season 3 while he was taken over by the Mind Flayer to carry out their bidding. You can't help but feel for him and empathize with his story and his problems that are what resulted in who he turned out to be in life. And for the first time in this show, they actually had the actor of a deceased character come back to film new scenes for the next season, because Barb and Bob both only reappear in the show through mainly flashbacks. But Billy was different, since his death meant so much to the narrative of the story in season 4, with Max becoming Vecna's 4th target to open up the Mega Rift. They actually had Dacre Montgomery film new scenes with dialogue for his return. And shockingly enough, this was during the pandemic, and while they were shooting in the US, Dacre was trapped in Australia, so they ended up shooting this entire scene over Zoom. Yeah, Sadie filmed her scenes a full year before they filmed Dacre's scenes in Australia with him in the fit Billy died in. And with hearing the Duffers emphasizing immediately after season 4 how big of a role Eddie's death will play in season 5, and with them already showing us Dustin visiting his grave and the town still hating him even though he died to protect them, I think this means Eddie's going to play a huge role in season 5. I really hope Dustin doesn't become the next target of Vecna, but with him being the closest one to Eddie, it's definitely a possibility. But I wouldn't be surprised if they have Eddie come back not only through flashbacks but with new scenes as well. Maybe Vecna using him to try to get to Dustin, because it really looks like they know they're doing something behind the scenes with him. Now personally, I think it would be crazy if they chose to go this route and do this, but there is a small possibility Vecna uses Eddie's body as a vessel and reanimates him inside the Upside Down. Because Eddie is definitely dead, or at least that's what the Duffers want us to believe. But we have to remember that Eddie's not the only one that died in the Upside Down. In season 1, Barb was dragged by a Demogorgon into the Upside Down before she was dinner. But I always did wonder what they used when they eventually had a funeral for her. Did they go through all the trouble of getting a casket to bury at a gravesite, all for it to be completely empty? I mean, her body is still in the Upside Down, if there's anything left of it. When Nancy sees it in season 4, it's just a hallucination, a trance of Vecna, but nobody retrieved her body. Did they choose to pay for all of this and go through all the trouble just for their own sake so they could officially bury their daughter and put her to rest? Because someone did actually fabricate a fake Will Byers at one point just so they'd stop looking for him. It'd be insane if right after this they gave Barb's family a fake version of her. But I bring this up because Eddie's body as well is in the Upside Down still. I doubt Dustin got Steve and Nancy to go run and find his corpse just to drag it out. I worry that Barb's funeral is more than Eddie will ever get. I'm still crossing my fingers that he gets some proper closure though. I want to see the rest of the gang react to his death. I can't help but feel like season 4's ending was so rushed, tying up all the loose ends, but either way, he's still in the Upside Down, and that leaves the D&D lore theory open of him coming back as Cass, which wouldn't really be the real Eddie returning. He'd be the new villain that just looks like Eddie but upside downified. And surprisingly enough, here the interviewer brings up the Cass vampire theory, and this is what he has to say about it.
There's a theory out there that in season 5, you might come back as a vampire.
I don't know.
Would you come back as a?
I don't know.
But you would like.
I would love to come back.
I mean, hey, if he's fine with it, why not? But I'm afraid that a lot of the fans that say they want him back just want Eddie Munson back, not a reanimated vampire version of Eddie. It would be completely different, a disconnected character. The Duffers have said he's dead.
Yeah. Eddie Munson officially dead?
Yes.
What's stopping them from bringing him back to life? The Duffers have told us that ever since the beginning, Eddie was doomed. He wasn't ever going to have a happy ending, unfortunately. Even if he did survive the finale, going back to Hawkins after the mega portal opened up would be like a death sentence. Go straight to jail. Even after his death, we can see that he's not really resting at peace. The town still hates him and blames him to some extent for what's happened to them. But I'm glad to see that even though he's gone, they'll still be showing the ripple effects of him dying on our main characters in season 5. Dustin is obviously going to have the hardest time processing everything, similar to Max with Billy's death, but I'm sure even Mike and Lucas, and hopefully Steve too, will show how much it hurt to lose him, because in such a small amount of time, he became so close with all of them and truly help them fight Vecna and the Upside Down. It's just so weird to see how quickly it seemed like they started teasing that Eddie would return. Even just months after release, you have everybody interviewing Quinn asking him if we'll see Eddie again, and of course he wants to come back to the show, but as time goes on, it seems like they've already figured out how and when they're going to work him into season 5. I mean, just look at this clip.
You're coming back next season. I do know, but I'm not telling you.
It's hard to watch this and say he won't be making a return. That's crazy hinting. There's been loads of times where he straight up said we'll probably see Eddie again. I thought it was really interesting in this one interview where he gets asked if he tried to take anything from set, specifically his wig.
We talked about the wig a little bit earlier. Did you keep it? Tell me the truth.
I tried.
I tried to. Just tell me. What do you mean you tried?
I tried to. I picked it up and I looked at Sarah and I went, Sarah Hines called the genius hair lady. She's amazing. And yes, she just kind of went, and I went, and put it down.
You know, that's a good sign. If we got to keep the wig, might mean, you know, we got to keep you around.
I don't know.
I mean, he's not wrong. I have a good feeling he'll be back with all the hinting and dancing around the subject. It's crazy how long ago he knew whether or not he'd be in season 5, as well as know everything that's happening in this season. Kinda sus. I'm looking forward to, I guess, possibly seeing him return in season 5, but I can't help but wonder just how much. It seems just like Dacre Montgomery that he will be returning to film new scenes to reprise his role. I mean, we could be mistaken, but all the signs point to him returning. I think they know how much the fans want to see him back on the big screen, and with how much everyone else who's died has returned through the rest of the show, I would honestly be surprised if we don't ever see him in this last season. We know the Duffer said his death is going to greatly affect the story, and we've already seen Dustin stepping in and seemingly running Hellfire Club now in Eddie's place. We see him mourning his loss at his gravesite and in some way sticking up for him with the BTS of the bullies roughing him up at the gravesite. And with them specifically keeping the wig in storage, I mean, while it could just be in case they needed to do reshoots or something, or simply because it costs so much money, it's still pretty interesting. I think at this point, we're just wondering how much of Eddie Munson will return. If you want to place your vote and see where the rest of the fans lie on the subject, I made a fun short little survey in the comments again, where you can go vote if you want to see him come back at all, or to what extent you think he'll come back. Thank you everyone for watching the video. I'll have my fingers crossed just like the rest of you for the next couple of months, but until then, I will see you in the next video. Peace.